of shares, representing 90.80% of the issued share capital, have been recorded as present. Mr. Chairman, quorum has been formed.
Thank you. In accordance with Article 51 of the Company's Articles of Association, the quorum for a general meeting is determined where they are present in person or by proxy, 25 members or 1/3 of the total number of members, whichever is lesser. I am pleased to inform you that the Company Secretary has advised me that this quorum has been met. Accordingly, this meeting being duly convened and properly constituted in accordance with the Company and Allied Matters Act as amended by Section 11 of the Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2023, and our company's Article of Association is hereby declared open. The pre-selected proxies would all have received an electronic voting device tagged to the number and value of proxies held, by which you can exercise your vote by poll. Voting will be done electronically and collated for real-time disclosure. I will now, as chairman and as proxy, make a demand that voting on all matters to be considered at this EGM be by poll. I would like to start this meeting by acknowledging members of the board and other distinguished persons who are seated here on the high table with me, starting from our able Group Managing Director, Mrs. Cecilia Oshikoto. Next to her, our own very Archbishop Felix Alabajo. And sitting next to Baba is our Director, Sam Karim. And on my right from the extreme is our dear Director, Yunusa Abdul Rahman. Next is Mr. Akin Ajay. And our Director, Executive Director, Roslyn Ulaitu, Mrs. I also have the pleasure of introducing the company secretaries, first Almond Attorneys, represented by Mr. Abayomi Akerele. Representatives of our audit committee members, registrars, and other regulators present, we welcome you all. Let's still continue to keep one meeting. Let's continue to keep one meeting. Before I call on the company secretary to read the notice conveying this meeting, I would like to inform members that in accordance with the Companies and Allied Act, the Registrar of Directors Shareholding is available for inspection throughout the meeting. There will be opportunity for questions and comments. I wish to appeal to each speaker to please be brief with your question so as to give others a chance to also ask their questions. Please note, whenever you wish to second a motion, ask a question, or raise a point of any matter under discussion, for purpose of identification, kindly state your name so that it can be properly noted for record purposes. I would also like to request that those moving motions, those seconding motions put to the meeting, those making comments or asking questions should speak clearly. into the microphone. Kindly start with your name. Pass a mic around for that purpose. Before I call on the secretary to read the notice convening this meeting, I think it is proper for us to recognize and honor those who departed during the GNI building fire. So may we please rise up and observe a 1-minute silence in their honor. Also, I've just been informed that 2 of our shareholders, Honorable Tajuddin Jimo, and now have gone to the better part of heaven. We will also recognize them and honor them with that 1-minute silence. May we have a 1-minute silence, please. Thank you. In the meantime, I'm sure we all by now are aware of the unfortunate incident at GNI House at 4757 Martin Street. We would provide opportunity for questions and answers at the end of today's proceedings on that particular issue. So please bear with us so that we can run through what we came here to do, and then we can give time for that. Thank you. I now call on this company secretary to read the notice of convening this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Notice of extraordinary general meeting of members of Great Nigeria Insurance PLC. Notice is hereby given that an extraordinary general meeting, EGM, of the members of Great Nigeria Insurance PLC, the company, will be held on Friday, 16th of January 2026 at 10 a.m. at BWC Hotel, plot 1228, Atlantic Hall, 5th floor, Ahmadu Bello Way, Victoria Island, Lagos, and will be live streamed for the purpose of transacting the following business: special business. To consider and, if thought fit, pass the following as special resolutions. 1, that the shareholders capital of the company be and is hereby increased by such number of minimum shares as may be required to comply with the regulatory requirements, whether relating to life or non-life or composite licenses, and whether same is required now or in the future, and the directors are authorized to pass resolutions for such increase, as well as allot the new ordinary shares required as they shall deem fit in the best interest of the company. 2, that the memorandum and articles of association of the company be and is hereby altered to reflect the minimum share capital requirement of the company as may be determined by extant laws or regulations from time to time. 3, that Article 36 and 37 A and B of the Articles of Association of the company be altered to reflect as follows, in line with the provisions of the Companies and Other Matters Act 2020 as amended, and the provisions of the Business Facilitations Miscellaneous Provisions Act. Specifically, Article 36, which we intend to amend, reads thus: the share capital of the company may be increased from time to time by a resolution of the Board of Directors, where such increase is required to comply with any applicable laws or regulations. B, a resolution of the company in general meeting in accordance with the provisions of these articles and applicable laws. Article 37, the A part of it. The new shares shall be issued upon such terms as may be determined by the directors and shall rank pari passu with the already issued ordinary shares held by existing members of the company. The directors may, before the issue of any new shares, determine that the same or any of them shall be offered in the first instance to all members in the proportion of the amount of the capital held by them, or make any other provisions as to the issues and allotment of the new shares, but in default of any of such determination, also as the same shall not exceed the new shares, may be dealt with as if they form part of the shares in the original capital. Number 4, that the company be and is ever authorized to raise additional capital by the establishment of capital raising plans, whether by way of private placement, right issues, public offer, or such other transaction models, or combination of modes in such quantum, tranches, series, amounts, pricing, or proportions as may be determined by the Board of Directors, such subject to the obtaining requisite approvals of the regulatory requirement to meet the minimum capital requirement for life, non-life, or composite license prescribed by the Nigeria Insurance Industry Reforms Act 2025, and as may be amended. Number 5, that the directors be and are hereby authorized to do all such acts, deeds, and things, take all such lawful steps, pass all required resolutions, and do all such other lawful acts, and all things as may be necessary, incidental, supplemental, or consequential to giving effect to the resolutions above, including without limitation, allotting the shares newly created, appointing relevant professional advisors, consultants, and other parties, complying with the directives of any regulatory authorities which may be incidental. 6, that the company secretary be and is hereby authorized to review the existing articles of association of the company and take all necessary steps to ensure that they align with the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 as amended by the Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provisions Act. Note, proxy. A member of the company entitled to attend and vote at the EGM is entitled to appoint a proxy to attend and vote in his or her stead. A proxy need not be a member of the company. For the appointment of a proxy to be valid, all instruments of proxy should be completed and deposited at the office of the registrars, Greenwich Registrars and Data Solutions Limited, number 274 Murtala Ahmadu Bello Way, PMB, Yaba, Lagos, and via email at info@gtlregistrars.com, no later than 48 hours before the time fixed for the meeting. A blank proxy form is attached to the notice and may also be downloaded from the company's website via www.greatnigeriainsuranceplc.com. The company will bear the cost of stamping all the duly completed and signed proxy form submitted within the stipulated time. Electronic meeting link / live streaming. Further to the signing into law of the Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provisions Act, which allow companies to hold meetings electronically. This EGM will be held physically but also live streamed for the purpose of those who cannot or may not be able to attend physically. Electronic meeting link for the EGM will be for the live stream will be posted on the company's website, and which has also been done. And then will also be available on social media platforms. Thank you.
Thank you. I hereby declare the meeting duly convened. Ladies and gentlemen, to provide a background for this meeting today, I'd like to make some few notes.
Hello. Chairman, I want to wish you and members of the board a happy new year on behalf of the shareholders. Yes, we know that the insurance subsector is under tremendous pressure, but that pressure should not also be one that you put additional pressure on the shareholders. With your permission, I will just allow me ask the company secretary, please turn the notice that you have read, turn it upside down and tell me what is item 4 on the notice that you have read. Turn that upside down. And what is item 4? Because if you haven't given us, even if it's a photocopy of what that resolution, you will have helped all of us. Please. Please. Because what you are basically asking us to, I basically ask you to tell me just what item 4 is. Talk less of having to go through a resolution. And surprisingly, some of us, we are saying taking as read. Even the one you read, we didn't remember it. How much more the one you haven't read?
Sorry.
So if you have, with due respect, Mr. Chairman, if you have photocopy or cycloside copy of those resolutions, even if it's one per table, we need to be able to follow this proceeding. And don't also be surprised. By the time you probably provide it, those of us who take interest in the company can also say, oh, can we modify this to be this? So we don't come back to the issue, because some of the things that you have mentioned are things that some of us thought would have been done the last time. So we don't keep spending money for people who don't know how to make money. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much for your observation. We assumed, because the notice was published and was also pasted on our website, that all the shareholders will have had time to look at it. Be that as it may, your last comment is extremely very important. And if you remember, in the last AGM we did got the mandate of the shareholders to do whatever it is necessary to raise capital and to do all that is necessary. And we thought that that mandate was good enough to execute what we needed to do. But our attention was drawn to 2 legal documents. The first was the change to CAMA that allows the board members to pass a resolution to change the share capital. However, the second one is our memoir. And our memoir specifically says that only the general meeting can change the share capital of the company. So that is really the primary reason why we came. Now, recognizing that, we then decided that this meeting would do 2 things. First, we will seek that mandate to raise the share capital of the company so that we can accommodate new investments. But more importantly, we will now do the paperwork to regularize our memoirs that gives the power to both the directors and as well as the shareholders, so that when we have an emergencies like cases like this, the directors will have the power to do that and act on behalf of the shareholders and then report to the shareholders at the next meeting. So that is the summary of the document. And I'm sure you all know lawyers, eh? They don't write anything simple. So all those long grammar is just the summary of what I've said. So please bear with us. May we continue? Yes. Thank you very much. So I wanted to give a background, even though I know that we probably all know it, but it is still mandatory that I provide the background for the purpose of this meeting. Our company, Great Nigeria Insurance PLC, operates in a highly regularized insurance environment. I think what I'm about to say, I've already actually summarized it. You want me to, should I take it as we understand the purpose of the meeting? We are aware of the regulation, the new regulation that was enacted in 2025 that mandates that insurance companies raise their capital. We said this the last time, and we also told you that we are working tirelessly behind the scene to make sure that we meet that obligation, and you mandated us to do whatever it is necessary. And we've been doing that, and one of the things that we think is the easier way for now to raise that fund, I haven't spoken to our shareholders, you, and our main shareholders as well, is to do a right issue. A right issue gives the obligation to every member to increase in the proportion of the existing holding. It is not by any way being forced, nor is it by order. It is by will. So if a shareholder, for example, owns 100 shares and that shareholder is unable to meet the obligation for the proportion of his own share, he would then leave it for another shareholder to take it up. But we must remember what is the primary objective. Primary objective here is that we raise enough money, one, to meet the regulation by end of June, and even now, even unfortunately, it's been a law, so it's not a regulator's advice. It's a law that by end of June, the shareholders of all insurance companies, those who are writing life business, used to be 2 billion naira, it will now be 10 billion or risk-based capital. Those who are writing non-life business who used to be 3 billion is now 25 billion. And those who are writing reinsurance, 15 billion. Non-life is 15 billion. Those who are writing reinsurance, used to be 10 billion, is now 35 billion. For companies like ours, who is a composite, that is, we are writing both general and life, it then means that what used to be 5 billion as minimum care capital that we have, 5 billion, is now 25 billion. Thank you, yes, very. I'm sure you know it's not a small task. It's a major uphill task. But like we've been doing at this board, we've been working diligently. If you remember our history, sometimes we need to always go back to where we're coming from so that we know where we are going to. We came onto board at the time when the life of GNI was, as a company, was questioned. We had over We have close to 2 billion negative retained earnings when we came. And we've been doing diligently to write that off, because if you don't write off, you cannot declare profit, you cannot declare dividend. And I remember standing in front of you and promising you that we would do that 2 years ago. And we did. We achieved it. In fact, it is because we achieved it that we were able to find people who are willing to invest. We turned the company around, we cleaned the balance sheet, we put the company on profitability, and we now have people who are eagerly looking to engage with us. That in itself is a major feat. I think we deserve an applause. The applause is for all of us. All of us. And I also like to mention and thank you, particularly the shareholders that are here today. If you also remember, in 2025, we gave options for some people who might be tired of this journey, because when the journey is getting too long, some people feel fatigued. But I'm happy, excited, and thank you all for those who chose to be with us. That is a major sign of your belief in where we are going. And if you also remember, all these were things that we did not even anticipate this NIRA thing then. We heard stories that there might be, but we didn't know how soon. And we didn't even know what is the magnitude. If you check our last balance sheet, you can see that there's a major shortfall in our shareholders' fund. And those major shortfall could be seen as, oh, are we sure come July 1, there will still be GNI? It's a right concern. And I'm here to help you with that thought process, that at this part of the table, we are doing everything within our power. Since I'm not God, I cannot say categorically we will. But bearing sectoral parables, all things being equal, we should be standing GNI PLC come 1st of July. So what we are doing today is part of the steps to make sure that happens. And I also want you, as shareholders, to be aware that the new NIRA Act opened up extensively the insurance industry. So in real terms, there are very, very good tidings in the uprising. The opportunities are there for us to become bigger and to start returning value to our shareholders. So let's just stay the course, and may God be with us all. If there's any question on the explanation that I've given, I will take few, just a few. If there's none, let's move on. Thank you. Let's move on. Thank you. So we now proceed to the agenda of the day, ladies and gentlemen. The first item is to consider, and if deemed fit, approve the following as a special resolution. That the share capital of the company be and is hereby increased by such number of minimum shares as may be required to comply with any regulatory requirement, whether relating to life or non-life or the composite licenses that we had. And whether same is required now or in the future. And that the directors are authorized to pass resolutions for such increase, as well as to allot new shares, the new ordinary shares, required as they shall deem fit in the best interest of the company. I hereby move that the share capital of the company be and is hereby increased by such number of minimum shares as may be required to comply with any regulatory requirement, whether relating to life or non-life or composite licenses, and whether same is required now or in the future, and the directors are authorized to pass resolutions for such increase, as well as to allot the new ordinary shares required, as they shall be deemed best interest. The shareholders please rise and second the motion.
Thank you, my. All the way from Federal Constituency.
Thank you much. Thank you very much, Prince.
The way from Ramos Federal Constituency.
May I now call on all the members to vote on the resolution by poll. I will hand over to the registrars to conduct the poll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can we please cast our attention to the screen? The video is up. The voting instruction video is up. The resolution is up on display, and the timer is up. Please vote. Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 to abstain from the resolution. We have 17 seconds more. The resolution is still up. Please press 1 on your device for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3. The timer is off. Voting has ended, and we have 3,475,067,000 units in favor of the resolution. No vote against, no vote. And it represents 100% of the unit present. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Registrar. The result of the vote is no dissent. I declare the motion carried. Moving on. That the memorandum and articles of association of the company be and are hereby altered to reflect the minimum share capital requirement of the company as may be determined by extant laws or regulations from time to time. I hereby move that the memorandum and articles of association of the company be and are hereby altered to reflect the minimum share capital requirement of the company as may be determined by extant laws or regulations from time to time. The shareholder please rise and second the motion. The gentleman in Ankara. Ankara all through.
Are you the one? Which
Which one, sir?
Thank you, my chairman, for recognizing me. I am Yekina Adisa, Governor of Focus Shareholder Circle. I rise to second the motion. Thank you.
May I now call on the members to vote on the resolution by poll. I will hand over the mic to the registrars to conduct the poll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The resolution is up. Timer is up. Please vote. That the memorandum and articles of association be amended, be altered to reflect the minimum share capital. We have 20 seconds left. Please vote. Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 to abstain from the voting. The timer is still up. Please press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 to abstain. Voting has ended, and we have 3,475,226,000 units in support of the resolution, and this translates to 100% for the resolution, 0% against the resolution, and 0% abstained. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Registrar. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Item 3, that Article 36 and 37, A and B, of the Articles of Association of the company be altered to reflect as follows, in line with the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, as amended by the provisions of the Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2023. Article 36, the share capital of the company may be increased from time to time by a resolution of the Board of Directors where such increase is required to comply with any applicable laws or regulations. B, a resolution of the company in general meeting in accordance with the provisions of this article and applicable law. Article 37A, the new shares shall be issued upon such terms as may be determined by the directors and shall rank pari passu with already issued ordinary shares held by existing members of the company. B, the directors may, before the issue of any new shares, determine that the same or any of them shall be offered in the first instance to all the members in proportion to the amount of the capital held by them, or may or make any other provisions as to the issue and the allotment of the new shares, but in default of any such determination, or so far as the same shall not extend, the Articles 36 and 37 A and B of the Articles of Association of the company be altered to reflect as stated above. In line with the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, as amended by the provisions of the Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2023. Would the shareholder please rise and second this motion? I'd like to call on a lady, please. Aja.
Chairman, my name is Motunrayo Kudrat. I so do, sir.
Thank you. May I now call on members to vote on the resolution by poll? I will hand over to the registrar to conduct the poll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The resolution is up. Voting has started. Please vote to alter Articles 36 and 37 of the Articles of Association of the company. We have 20 seconds left. Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 to abstain from the voting. The timer is still up. Please vote. Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 to abstain from the voting. Voting has ended, and we have 3,475,232,000 units in support of the vote, which represents 100% of the units in support of the vote, 0% against the vote, and 0% abstained. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, registrars. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you for your patience. Moving on. Item 4. That the company be and is hereby authorized to raise additional capital by the establishment of capital raising plans, whether by way of private placement, right issue, public offer, and such other transaction models or combination of models in such quantum, tranches, series, amount, pricing, or proportions as may be determined by the Board of Directors, subject to obtaining requisite approvals of the regulatory authorities to meet the minimum capital requirement for life or non-life or composite licenses prescribed by the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Act 2025, as may be amended. I hereby move that the company be and is hereby authorized to raise additional capital by the establishment of capital raising plans, whether by way of private placement, right issue, public offer, and such other transaction models or combination of models in such quantum, tranches, series, amount, pricing, or proportions as may be determined by the Board of Directors, subject to obtaining requisite approvals of the regulatory authorities, to meet the minimum capital requirement for life or non-life licenses prescribed by the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Act 2025 as may be amended. May I shareholder please rise and second the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My name is Alaja Sarata Iyabode Balogun.
Alaja, I would have recognized you, but you should please wait for me to recognize you. And now I recognize you.
Thank you very much, sir. My name is Alaja Sarata Iyabode Balogun. I rise to second that motion.
Thank you. Can I call on members to vote on this resolution by poll? Hand over the mic to the registers to conduct the poll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The resolution is up on display. Voting has started. The timer is up. Please vote. Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 to abstain. Please vote to authorize the company to raise additional capital by the establishment of capital raising plans. The timer is still up. Please vote. Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 to abstain from the voting. Voting has ended, and we have 3,475,244,000 in support of the vote. We have 5,000 abstained from the vote, and this represents 100% of the units in support of the vote, 0% against, and 0% abstained from the voting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, registers. I declare the motion carried unanimously. We're almost done. Item 5. That the directors be and are hereby authorized to do all such acts, deeds, and things, take all such lawful steps, pass all requisite resolutions, and do all such other lawful acts and or things as may be necessary, incidental, supplemental, and or consequential to give an effect to the resolutions above, including without limitation, allotting the shares newly created, appointing relevant professional advisors, consultants, and other parties, complying with directives of any regulatory authority which may be incidental, ancillary, supplementary, or or otherwise necessary to give full effect to the above resolutions and for the aforesaid purposes on behalf of the company. I hereby move that the directors be and are hereby authorized to do all such acts, deeds, and things, that all such lawful steps pass all requisite resolutions and do all such other lawful acts and or things as may be necessary, incidental, supplemental, and or consequential to giving effect to the resolutions above, including without limitation, allotting the shares newly created, appointing relevant professional advisors, consultants, and other parties, complying with directives of any regulatory authority which may be incidental, auxiliary, supplemental, or otherwise necessary to give full effect to the above resolutions and for the aforesaid purpose on behalf of the company. Would the shareholder please rise?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Kola Alaga is the name. I so second the motion.
Thank you. May I now call on members to please vote on the resolution by poll. I will now hand over to the registrars to conduct the poll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The resolution is up on display and timer has started. Please vote. Please press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 to abstain from the voting. Please vote. The timer is still up. Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 to abstain. 1 for yes, 2 for no, and 3 to abstain. Voting has ended, and we have 3,475,246,000 in support of the resolution. We have 5,000 abstained from the resolution and no vote against the resolution. This translates to 100% of the units in support of the voting, 0% abstained, and 0% against the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, registrars. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Here with us, can we please sit down at the back? Please, we are almost done. Item 6, that the company secretary be and is hereby authorized to review the existing articles of association of the company and take all necessary steps to ensure that they align with the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 as amended by the Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2023. I hereby move that the company secretary be and is hereby authorized to review the existing articles of association of the company and take all necessary steps to ensure that they align with the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 as amended by the Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2023. The shareholder please rise and second the motion. I recognize the man in green in the middle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is A.K. Chibuzo Emmanuel. I second that motion.
Good afternoon. The name is Oyetunde Olaitan. I second the motion.
Thank you. Before I move on, I would like to recognize the gentleman that spoken. Get up, stand up and be recognized. Let us have your name. It's a recognition for you.
Chairman, thank you so much for recognizing me again. My name is A.K. Chibuzo Emmanuel.
Thank you very much.
I second that motion.
The motion was already seconded. May I now call on members to please vote on the resolution by poll. I will hand over to the registrar to conduct the poll.
Resolution is up on display and timer is up. Voting has started. Please vote. Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 to abstain from the voting. Please vote to authorize the company secretary to review the existing articles of association of the company. Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 to abstain from the voting. Timer is still up. Please vote. Voting has ended, and we have 3,475,294,000 in support of the resolution, 0 against the resolution, and 9,000 abstained from the vote. This represents 100% in support of the resolution, 0% against the resolution, and 0% abstained from the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, registrars. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. As promised at the beginning of the session, I said that we would talk about the incident of the fire on our building, 757 Market Street. As we were all aware, in December this 2025, we all woke up to the incident of fire on that building. And unfortunately, lost their life and properties were lost. If you don't want us to talk about it, we can skip it and go on. I felt it's my judicial responsibility to discuss these issues with you, co-owners of the company. We are all aware, because it's public news, that the building fire took quite a while before it could be down. We are also aware that the Lagos State Governor in person visited site. We as GNI also put a public notice to state the correct position as regards the asset. And this was published in the newspaper. I will summarize that quickly, and after that I will open the floor for any questions. But may I please seek your indulgence to note that as we are speaking, the Lagos State government has constituted a committee to look at the issues and we will have to wait for the outcome of that before we can make any pronouncement. So what I'm just going to be doing today is give you a historical update, which probably have already read in the newspaper. As we are all aware, we entered into a long-term lease with the Shitabe family. We had a very good, successful relationship with them over the decades. At the terms of the agreement, the mic doesn't like me, that's why. Mic will fall down if I almost there. So, like I said, it's a long lease. The Shitabe family provided the land, and GNI put up a 25-story building. And part of the terms of the agreement was that we will build the house, the building, own it, use it, and return it back to the Shitabe family. I think it was a 30-year lease. Sorry, 60-year lease. And it was supposed to actually be a renewable lease. So after the 60 years, we were supposed to be able to renew it. The first term of the first 60 years remained 10 years more. Now, if you can recall, sometimes in 2013, we had the first fire incident on that building. As a responsible corporate entity, we engaged the Lagos State government and our own actuary evaluators to reaffirm the structure of that building. This took a while because it's an old building. And we were also conscious of the effects of that building to its neighbors. During this process, where we were still engaging the consultants, the Shitabe family moved to take possession of the property. We felt this was, I don't even know what language to call it. But in representing you, the shareholders, and being a good corporate entity, we went to court. We instituted 2 suits in the Federal High Court and the Lagos High Court. Both suits were returned in our favor, and the court told them to vacate the structure. They refused. They used out to threaten whoever we sent there. In order not to degenerate further, we went back to court. And court gave what's the legal term? Court gave a restraining order, restraining them from access to the property. They filed an appeal. So as of today, we are still in court. By the way, the initial order, court affirming our right to the property, was appealed as well. So as of 2020 to date, they've had possession of the property. 2020. In disobedience to the court orders. When we realized what was happening, we decided to write to the authorities to put them abreast of what was happening. So we are on record to have informed the authorities about the events surrounding the property. Of course, I like to assume that the primary purpose was money for them. So they did some facelifting, and then they started letting the place up. They started putting the place up for let. And it is the category of people and warehousing the place was being used for that I presume aggravates the fire incident, because there were a lot of wares all over the floors. And it also makes it very difficult for the fire to be put under control. So where we are today is that first, we have the right to the building, but that right is being challenged. We have not heard the final say of the court on it. Once you get the judgment on lower court and an appeal court case has been opened, the legality is still in question until the final say. However, we're also aware that our time is running out on the asset, and that the process of legal in Nigeria can take unpredictable time. So as a result, we have always excluded this asset from all our recapitalization plans. So you have no cause for concern as to relate to how would this adversely affect us. However, like I said at the beginning, thank you, may God bless you too. There's a limit to how much we should talk about a case that is already in court and is also being looked into by the government. If there's any other question outside what I've spoken and it's something that I'm allowed to talk about, I will. Otherwise, I'll take one or two questions. Yes. Please don't forget, let us know your name and be brief. Don't let us add any emotions to the question. Let it be direct, factual request.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Erin Folami Gafao. Gafao. From the news that I heard, the governor said the government will put down that structure. So can you respond to that, sir? Thank you.
Okay. Remember I said earlier, don't let us procrastinate. And don't let us play with words that we cannot substantiate. We heard the news too, but the governor hasn't written to us. They have set up a committee to look at this process. In fact, what I heard, again, through the grapevine, is not just that structure. It's a lot of structures on that axis they are looking at. So don't let us jump the gun. Let's wait for them to come and tell us what the official position is. Pastor. Mike, please. Mike.
Thank you, our chairman. My name is Tunji Bamidele. Due to all your explanation, my question is this. You have said you already removed it from your recapitalization asset. What is the effect on our side? And what do you think removing it will be? What's the benefit we can derive from it? Thank you.
Remember that if there's any concern that we should all have, is will this asset affect our ability to meet our recapitalization? That's the primary responsibility that I share. And I said, right from when we started having litigations around it, we've put it on hold because we also know, remember I said we've been having this relationship for like 50 years, right? And it's been a wonderful relationship. And I think actually the problem started when the first generation of the database started passing. And it's a large family, very large family. Sometimes even to get them to come together to a meeting is a difficult task. So, and I don't want to hold brief for them. As an asset, the status or the residual value of that asset would be determined after we know what is the government plan and the subsequent actions that will be required of us or not. So don't let us speculate now. But the one that is important to us, this asset will not affect our recapitalization plan. All right, thank you very much for all your time. Let's move on, please. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the business of this extraordinary general meeting. On behalf of the board, I thank you all for attending this meeting and showing us so much interest in your company's affairs. In order to close, I will call on a member of our board, Mr. Aki Ajayi, to please lead us in closing prayer. Sorry, I've been corrected that I should go to the other side of our religion. Mr. Yunusa, please close the prayer for us in the Islamic way.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
shareholder reps are also balanced in terms of religion and gender. But over and above that, we do know that we're all serving humanity. And in that spirit,
please, we are praying.
Can you please have one room? Okay. Yes. And today being Friday, in the spirit of the Islamic culture, I would like to pray for Jumat Mubarak to those of us who are Muslims. Have a very good day. So, in the name of the Almighty Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful, we thank God for getting us together for this event. We also thank Almighty Allah for allowing us to go through all the resolutions that we have in mind. And we trust that Almighty Allah will actually help us to deliver on this mission even beyond our expectation. In this I will pray. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amen. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I now declare the meeting closed. Thank you for coming. Please be seated. Please be seated.